Scott Sloan Show for your Wednesday. It's getting warmer. The sun is out. Life is good. In the distance, Gary Sullivan. We'll talk on issues with furnaces and pipes and household issues. And he says that Powerball money is just too many problems. More money, more problems. He wants nothing to do with it. I say he's delusional. He can't have enough money, although I know he has all of it. He and Willie, they got it all. Sterling here trying to make sense of the senseless. Someone who can help with that is Shontaye Hawkins. She is an expert in workplace and business privacy issues and so on being top of mind. Yesterday, conversation with Hamilton County Sheriff Jim Neal and some of his staff about those body cameras being brought in, and everyone will have them on the street sooner than later, and I think that's good for everybody, but privacy of major concern. And in the workplace, it's a very serious issue, and there are cameras all over this place. It's all for our safety, not that they're worried about me stealing a microphone or a monitor or anything weird like that. It'd probably be Tracy Jones if anybody was going to do anything kind of shady. Shontaye Hawkins, welcome to 700 WLW. How is this workplace privacy thing happening? There seems to be a bit of a backlash with maybe businesses being too eyeball-y and Big Brother, you know?
Absolutely. Good morning, Sterling. Thank you so much. So what has happened, there's an article that's been out for a few days now, and it's about the Telegraph, where they installed devices under certain areas and desks within the office to monitor whether or not someone was at their desk or not. And what happened is the employees began to ask questions about it, and as you can imagine, that created a big uproar, and since then those devices have been removed. Now
that's a different kind of thing. I've heard of cameras. I've heard of door things. So obviously you can have key cards or whatever else, fobs, to make sure that they know where you're going from one part of a building to one office to another office. Obviously, monitors when it comes to financial issues and and that kind of stuff makes great sense. Who's on what computer and signing in, keystrokes, and how much you're working and being productive. But whether you're at your desk or not is kind of a weird deal. How much of a proliferation is that? I mean, because obviously I've never heard of it.
No, absolutely not. And it's really, we know a lot of times you walk into companies or organizations and there's cameras, right?
Yeah,
and
everywhere.
There is an element of, there's an element of security with those cameras being in place. But when you actually feel, so there's a trust issue that's occurred, which is why the employees were very, very upset. But what the company is saying, the reason they were installed was to basically monitor their energy, because they want to be more energy efficient and space efficient. And so they're looking for ways to better utilize their space. However, they were only installed in certain areas. So what about the break room, right? What about the bathrooms? What about the storage facilities and different places throughout the entire company? And when you do that, there's an element of trust that is really broken. And when you break that trust, that has huge negative impact on the business.
Now, have you seen that there is a drop in productivity when some of these things are in place compared to the idea initially for some motivation is increasing productivity, aside from you're talking about cost and utilization of space?
Yes, absolutely. When there is a strong bond of trust between a manager and an employee, that manager has that employee's back, that employee has the manager's back. That means that the productivity is going to be high. However, when that bond is broken, that means you're going to have elevated turnover, because now I can't trust that what I've shared with you or what you say you're going to do or what these devices are really in place for is the case. Now, here's when companies really adopt green initiatives such as this, they generally communicate this prior to the event happening. We're going to be doing this. We're going to actually be removing this, these certain things out of the office and putting this in place. We're going to be putting cameras in place. We're going to be using different other systems and initiatives and software to monitor. They explain that up front. When it's found out on the back end and really has negative effects, and which is what's happening right now for the Gazette, for the Telegraph right now, is the employees are upset about it, right? So they're wondering, can I trust you, right?
Sure.
Why are you monitoring what I'm doing? Do you think that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do? And when you really if it's really a green initiative, communicate it up front and first, and to let the employees embrace it as well versus the negative effect that we're experiencing right now.
You've been studying workplace issues and business for quite some time. I'm not saying you're old. Don't take it the wrong way. Shontaye Hawkins with Sterling, 700 WLW. I could feel your grimace as we were like on the phone here. Like, don't say that. I've been doing this that long. What is the strangest thing that you have come across? Because I'm familiar with cameras in the workplace. I have friends who do like transport, drive trucks and those type of things, and deliveries, and even like service calls, HVAC companies, where they'll have GPS on the vehicle so they know where their people are, when they're there, so they can give them trip charges, make sure that they're safe and secure, all these type of things. But what has surprised you, aside from this under desk if you're sitting there or not?
I would say this is really the one of the biggest surprises for me, is that because we know that for a long time companies have the ability to monitor, like you said, your email communications. There's also things such as, they'll block certain internet sites. You can't go to certain sites.
Stay off that Facebook. You don't need to be tweeting when I'm paying you to do your job. I mean, here's the other side, Shontaye. I mean, listen, if I'm the boss and I'm paying you and your job is to maximize my profit, I'm going to pay you something for your time, for your efforts. It's going to be equitable to your experience and your skill set and what you help make me when it comes to my dollars. I get that. That's more than fair. I've had, I hire people. I want to make sure they're not goofing off, stealing my money, my time. Yeah. But where is the line? Where is the line where it gets too in your business? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a cavity search. It's not like I'm working in a gold mine back in Deadwood back in the day where they would like check orifices to see that you didn't take a nugget and put it in someplace where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and this is the thing. No one wants to work anywhere where they feel like they're, an animal in a cage being watched all day. No, that's not going. It's like you're a hamster on a wheel. So are you typing on your computer right now? Are you sending email? Who are you sending that email to? Is that a personal email? Is that a private call? Is that a personal call? What is that? Is that a business call? What are you doing? No. That's not good for the managers, nor is it good for the employees and for the company overall. That is going to negatively impact your bottom line. You're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to make the money that you could make. Yes, you hired me to be the amazing marketing analyst that I am, or to be the amazing financial analyst that I am, or the sales rep, but I can't do that when I feel as if I am a hamster on a wheel and you're watching over, you're sitting in this, ivory tower watching every move that I make.
Right. I think that's more than reasonable. I'd like to have that for our elected officials, though, so we know what they're doing. They should all be drug tested, too, because they do some things where I think they're high. You know what I mean?
Right. We might want to actually have that. No, I mean, like the body cameras with police officers, there are some things that yes, that's a protection mechanism, right? That's something that we all can embrace and say, yes, we definitely want that in place. But some of these other things, I want to go to work every day and I want to be able to be me. I want to have a good time. I want to step away from my desk and go laugh with my coworkers.
And you know what? In those type of environments, it is healthy and people are happier and they tend to be more productive. And if it starts to go off the rails and you say, okay, Sterling, I'm not going to say, Shontaye, you're the problem. I'm probably the problem. I waste a lot of people's time when I'm in the building. I'm like, hey, man, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, I got to go because I got a project due, but I don't have any specific thing I have to be doing right now. But that being said, we have an expectation of now everything is on film. People film everything on the other side of stuff. And whether it's a car crash, God forbid, somebody's involved in one of those, or you're shopping, or somebody's dressing with half something hanging out that shouldn't be when you're at the Walmart or some other store someplace. It's immediately on social media because everybody has a camera and everybody's shooting video constantly. But there is that fine line. I guess the trick is in business in general or for government is where that acceptable thing. We've given it up, though. I mean, really, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can video. You're absolutely right. I mean, I just saw an article the other day where someone was videoing a young girl who was spanking or whipping or basically beating her dog. And she's only, less than, she thinks she's 9 or 10 years old. But, the individual who videoed the incident doesn't want to be on camera.
Right. Well, because they were videoing a 9-year-old child, and that gets a little creepy in another way.
Right. So everyone has a camera all day, every day.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. I mean, whether you're in the workplace or whether you're out having dinner with a friend and you all of a sudden end up being on social media because you, again, I don't know, something with your food and someone pull their camera out. So but in business, I think the thing is that we always have to just be clear about these are people too.
Yeah. Well, but here's the other side.
Element of trust that we want to always have in place, and you build that trust by, I say, over-communicate.
But here's the other side. Well, finish your thought, then I got something else to add. Go ahead.
And so I just say over-communicate, because there may be things that, company may say, well, we don't have to tell them that. That's not a big deal. But you know what? If I know that you're going to share everything, element of what's going on with this business with me, I'm going to be happier because I'm going to feel like I'm really a part of something rather than a science project.
All right, fair enough. But here's the other thing, Shontaye Hawkins, and you as a workplace business expert would know this. The reality is that with certain things in place when it comes to cameras, certain things come to place checking productivity and making sure that people with GPS or otherwise are where they're supposed to be when they're there. There is a benefit because some people, I don't know what the percentage might be, work harder, don't goof off as much, and actually it's better for productivity generally speaking. So where, I guess, is the line?
I think that like I said, you can, as a company and as a business, there are things that you want to have in place to make sure that your organization and your work environment is safe and productive. Because there are things, you don't want someone playing on Facebook all day. I didn't hire you to do that. We are easily distracted these days with text messages on our cell phone and emails popping up on the computer and on our phones. So yes, absolutely. I think a company has a right to make sure that they set the expectation that I'm paying you to be here to work. And while you're here, yes, it's okay to take a break and step away and laugh and maybe check your phone or whatever. But at the end of the day, you really do need to do your job.
Well, yeah.
And if I notice that you're missing deadlines, right, and we aren't getting things done on time, then there is going to be a problem. We're going to have a conversation about that.
So you're saying not until there's a problem, sort of like the where my view is generally for most jobs. I'm not talking transportation and those type of things, or elected officials, drug testing. Until you exhibit behaviors that make me think you're not handling yourself, that there is something wrong, I don't think they necessarily need to be in all of our business.
I think at the end of a company, you just may have a lot of companies just don't let you search, like they block off certain websites. Like you just know you're not going to be able to search Facebook.
Right.
But at the end of the day, my cell phone, I can search anything from my cell phone, right? I can just Google it when I get ready.
Unless it's your company phone, they can also effectively change and limit that as well. And if it's their phone, then it's their dollar. Right.
And I'm also saying that blocking certain things from the computer and having cameras in place, that does not necessarily mean that person's going to be more productive, but they do. You set the expectation that you're here to work.
Right.
Right. You know that when you walk in, the camera thing under the monitors under the desk just are really kind of creepy.
No, that's too far. I'll give you that's too far. And you're either in the desk or not. I can get up and go look to see if my underlings are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. But cameras all over the place to a certain extent for our safety are fine. But I don't know about you as a woman, and I did just search you on Google. They didn't block your stuff. You may, like me, but doing different things, may as you're walking and think that you have some privacy. Now I have to duck into the restroom. I'm reluctant to even adjust my stuff, as a guy may have to do on occasion, because I don't want someone at Mama iHeartMedia someplace watching me and then go, see, he touched himself. I have worries about that. Am I overthinking it?
No, Sterling, you're absolutely right, because here's the deal. What if I only video you for that 5 or 2 or 3 seconds, right? So
and you make a vine of it. Yeah, I see how you are.
So I missed the 20 seconds that you were walking down the hall, right?
Right.
And you're on your way to the bathroom or what? And it is as a woman, it would be a huge violation.
Right, but sometimes you gotta make sure your stuff's straight. I know.
You gotta fix yourself, and got.
Not that I'm eyeballing you. I'm just saying. Shontaye Hawkins, how can people find more about what you do online aside from searching photos?
They can contact me at profitisthenewblack.com.
Right.
Again, that's profitisthenewblack.com.
Good to talk to you. I hope we do it again soon. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, Sterling.
I'm
Bye-bye.
watching you. Don't get weird. Shontaye Hawkins, appreciate it. 749-7800, the big one at pound 700 AT&T. I want to know, do you feel that you're too watched on the job? Do you watch your employees? Do you have that GPS tracker on their truck or whatever else if you're out and about? Has it gone too far as Big Brother goes, or do you think that's just the way it is? And it is all for our own benefit. It is all for our own good. It is all for our own safety. The guise of everything is almost always that. At Sterling Radio on Twitter. Follow along, get interactive that way. Is there too much Big Brother when it comes to employers and cameras on the job? 749-7800.